one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in life is that I can never, ever live on my knees. I will never live on my knees. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So I want to tackle something that I feel like is the by far the darkest season of my life, I would say, but also the most enlightening season of my life: bullying. Hey, I have lived a life, like there was a time that I always felt that something was wrong with me, but I have been bullied in this life, like full-on bullying. And so I was seated some time back and I was like, where did they start? Like I just wanted to be able to do an assessment, and I do these things a lot where like I just do an assessment of my life and see where some of these things started, and I will get to the last major one, but let me start with where I believe everything started. So I joined Form 1 and I am joining on 23rd of March. If you know our system, that was extremely late. I had passed, but I was invited. Look, I was admitted to a school that my dad really didn't like. So I sat back and my dad was trying to be able to get me enrolled to Chemelil Academy, and so I was excited. I was like, I'm going to join this beautiful school that I had a lot about. And during that period, there's so much birds around, so I hope they're not making a lot of noise. Nature is beautiful though. So during this time, I am seated at home. I am waiting for this admission letter. I used to call it calling letter. And then a calling letter comes, but not from Chemelil Academy, guys. It's Nia Girls, one of the top schools during that time. And so I walk into this school on 23rd of March. I'm seated at the back and I had a desk mate who had come in earlier. And so my desk mate had a cousin in another class. And so the first week of me coming into this school, my desk mate and the cousin fights. Like if you go to a school and you get a desk mate, you're born, like that's it. And gelling and being a part of a team was never a problem to me growing up. Like it was really easy for me to be able to go into a place and make friends. And so we gel with my desk mate. My desk mate gets into a fight with her cousin. And then during the sort of the resolution of this thing, the class teacher of Form 1, was it North, tells these two that I am a bad girl, so they should not interact with me because I am a bad girl. I'm like, I just got here. I just literally got here. How am I to blame for two people fighting? Like I didn't understand. I did not understand it. And so this took a long time. Like throughout my high school, there was just teachers who had an attitude with me. And so like this particular, he was our class teacher. He didn't like me and I knew he didn't like me, but like I just had to survive. I don't understand how like a full-on grown man does not like me. Like I'm just a child and I have not done anything to be able to warrant it. And so I lived high school. I was pretty popular though, but like I think there was just this mentality, and then there was this thing of I'm just spoiled and I'm all this, and I don't know where it came from. but I used to ask questions. And I think that is the part of me that has never changed, like the fact that I will always ask questions. I don't stand injustices. And so I lived knowing that I was not liked. And so in Form 3, was it Form 3? Yeah, Form 3, I bring a phone to school. And so this phone is translated, or like begins to become like the community phone. Anyone would use this phone, anyone. And so I walk into class one day, and there's a phone that rings. I am so sure that phone was not mine, because it didn't ring like my phone. So my phone was a Nokia 3310i. Was there something 1110i? Was there? Comment down below if you know that phone. He used to be like, and then it used to have this ringtone, yeah, tururu, 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 that one. So I had this phone, and I remember, like, I didn't have a boyfriend, but I used to like these games, snake something, yeah. And so I used to play this, but then everyone else would use that phone. People who had boyfriends would call their boyfriends. We even have people who had teachers who had their boyfriends. They would communicate to this phone and go visit and all these things. So my phone was pretty much like a community phone. If you knew me, you'd use my phone, no problem. So this phone rings. It rang like these small phones. It Motorola C1 something, and I knew that was not my phone. But then this thing began to take a twist, and remember, because of everything that I had gone through, I just turned out to be like low-key, like a rebel, because I needed to protect myself. And the worst thing is I was protecting myself from adults, full-on adults. And that's the sickest part of everything, because when you have to be able to protect yourself against someone who needs to protect you, it's bad. And this is to every adult. If you're an older person bullying younger people, stop it. Because I don't understand how someone who has an age difference of 20 years, why are you fighting people who were born when you already had the ability to reproduce? Like, you're literally fighting your children. And so I was like, I had to protect myself, and I had to protect myself mostly against adults. And so at this point, like, I know it's not mine, but then someone comes in and tells me, like, kumewaka, like, there's something going on, definitely, and you need to like check it out. And I was like, what happened? And now I had started hearing rumors that this thing was becoming an issue. And so I sat there, like, thinking and asking myself, like, why? And then it was a bunch of people I used to call friends, people who used my phone so many times, like plotting, the plotation. And I was like, wow. So I know that something is going on. I am in school. So during holidays, we used to get out of our dormitories and go spend, you could spend in class. So there was was it the middle block? So we had the junior block, the senior block, I don't know, something. And so I was seated there, but I knew something was going on. So during the closing thing, I was told, now it's going down. I gave that phone to a friend, and then I was told to remain. So the list was right. Like, most of them were my friends, guys. They snitched on me, the fact that I had a phone. And so I just got into this space. I was told to remain behind. I knew why I was remaining behind, but I already gave the phone. So there was nothing that I could do about it. Like, the phone had gone. It's raining. I don't know how far I can go with this, but let me see. If I stop, I'll continue on a part 2. So I knew that something was definitely cooking, and I knew that I was in trouble, but I didn't know how. I didn't know what I did. I was just really, I didn't understand what was going on then. I knew, like, I had a phone. I knew that the phone that rang was not mine, and the person whose phone rang just went scot-free. Let me just go to a different place. I knew this thing was not mine, but I knew that someone had definitely snitched and something was happening. And so they had this thing where they were like, we have to get her. The way they were behaving, so they sent me to the junior block to check. Like, no, they were checking everywhere, including my lockers, including everything. Like, now they were checking. Remember, I didn't have a boyfriend, I didn't have anything. So they got these letters in my box. We used to call them boxes then. So they get these letters in my box, like it is full-on bullying. They read them. It's not my name, of course. Someone put her love letters in my oops. Someone had put love letters in my box, and so they were not mine. But then, like, this was a subject of bullying. Everything, like, they were just out to get me, and I could look at them and see my friends. Like, I would see them. I was like, I'm done with this school. I'm done, not coming back. And so I went home and told my parents, I'm not, so they let me go because they didn't let me go. So the principal tells me, I am going to my house. I have left you there. I want that phone. I told them, okay. So I sat at the waiting bay at the reception. So she left. I said, this is the right time. Like, there's nothing I'm doing here. There's no phone here. I'm not about to remain behind the people who are on detention. I'm not in detention, so that's not my thing. And so I decided, I'm going home. So I went to the gate. They didn't tell Bad Boy. So Bad Boy used to be our guard. So they did tell Bad Boy that I should not pass. So I passed and got home. I got home and told my dad, I'm not going back to that school. I am never, ever, ever setting foot in that school again. And he was like, why? What? Like, all those things. He didn't know I had a phone. This phone I was bought for by my cousin, and then I contributed partly, so he was not a party to it. And so I was like, I'm not going back. My dad thought I was joking. 2 weeks after opening day, I'm not going back. 3 weeks, I'm not going back. I was like, this was third term, Form 3 now. People are going to now, like, Form 4 the next term. So I decided, let me go to, I told them I want to go to Alendu Secondary. And I think my dad thought I was joking. So I just said I'm not going. So we went back to that school, the same bullying. Like, we had this headmistress who just used to bully people. Like, that's just bullying, because you need to call it for what it is. That was bullying. And I was like, I'm not going back. So they called, like, we went back, I picked my stuff, and I said, like, enough is enough. I would rather drop out of school than go through this again. Like, the constant bullying, people, like, just feeling like they can just tell you anything. Like, friends who had turned on me, like, there was nothing to go back to. I was bitter. Hey, I don't think I've ever been, like, bitter like that in my entire life. Like, people who used my phone, I didn't even use it as much as the people who are there parading me and trying to, like, mock me with it. When this teacher used to say, like bully me, they would laugh. They would, like, I was bitter. And so I go to this other school, I finish, I pass, I go to law school, I'm done with it. And so when I get to the workplace, I just find the same characters, like people who just think like these high school people. So I had this brilliant idea of bringing people together, especially grassroots organizations. And so what we used to do is to do joint activities, because my work was mainly at the county, but I needed a lot of evidence from the grassroots so that I'm able to execute some changes at the county level with some evidence. Like, this is the patterns, this is what is happening in the area of SGPV, this is what is happening in the area of SRHR, this is what is happening in this sub-county, this is the trend, something is happening. Like, I wanted to be able to advocate from a place of evidence. If you know advocacy, you know you need to do it from a place of evidence. And so I bring these people together, organizations that were like, no one even knew them. Like, there was just grassroots and some briefcase organizations at the community level who had potential, people who had the desire to work, the desire to effect change, but then like they were not getting as much support from the people that they needed to get support from. So I bring them together and we start these amazing things, like we did amazing things. We did like amazing things until it got to a point, people now began to get to a level where they feel like there's this specific alliance, so you choose to like work around Vitu's things, I didn't say Vitu, things around SRHR and all that. And so they started like plotting. So there's this day, I was on maternity leave, and I bump on a post that was done, like they were at the county, and during that time, my husband had an organization. My sister was working for an organization known as DevLink. And then we had like a number of other institutions. And then someone just comes, like some random woman just comes to a post and says like, "Hey, alliance, sikuzi tumeachia familia." And I'm like you are definitely caught in war. You're definitely caught in war. How would you come to like a page like my family are allowed to do stuff? They don't have to ask you for permission to do anything. They have the ability to be able to do stuff themselves. So there is nothing that like, they don't owe you an explanation. Like they don't have to ask you for permission to go to the county and do stuff. Like they have a right to be able to do their stuff. Like I am myself, and I have family who are able to do their stuff. It is such a boundary to cross by telling me that. But then that was not even the point. So when she said that, people began to attack her. This woman had the audacity to be able to be in contact with another woman and another gentleman, and they wrote to my employer. And they wrote to my employer because now they were having a full-on situation in there. Like they were throwing words and wherever. I was not even in that thread. They kept on mentioning my name. They brought their relatives, everyone. Like now there was a full-on like dramatic situation happening in this group. But before that, they were like, who does she think she is? Who does wherever? Like, and I felt like a lot of it was coming from a place of insecurity. People who are insecure, who feel like you have to owe them, like who feel like your talent is because of them. Everything that you've ever done in life is because of them, and all these other things. So at this point, I'd already started my own organization, but I had never missed a day of work. I was actually not even an employee of that organization. I had volunteers come in to do their work, so I was not. They included that in the letter. They wrote how I'd started an organization, how I had incited people to be able to attack this woman who was obviously very honorable, to come to a page and start attacking my family. And now because she did that and other people attacked her, so I was the one who attacked her. And I was like, I saw that letter. I was like, I don't even understand how wicked. I don't understand the degree of wickedness and bullying that people can get away with. Like they were out to take my job. They were out to tell my employer. Like they wanted to tell on them that I've started an organization. I don't know what my organization ever did for them, because did against them, because it was just a small tiny thing. These were an old woman and a man, like who are in organizations that are successful, organizations that had run for a while, working with this young woman who I had given so many chances to be able to go ahead, and they wanted to bring me down. There was people that had written grants for and gotten funding for, just come together and mobilize people against me, against like just talking about, like just because I was just in my lane and doing my stuff. And because some people were removed because there was just so much going on at that time. This is my second instance that I met like bullying and just got exposed to who humans really are. And so I got to a place I said, I'm never ever ever going to give bullies the pleasure of seeing me go down. Like, that is one of my biggest resolve in life. If you are a bully, you will never see my tear, because that's what bullies want. Bullies want to make you feel like you owe them, like you have to toe their line. You have to ensure, like, you have to be able to kneel down to them and be able to just come back to them, because they are gods. And so you have to be able to toe the line. And I told myself, and I gave myself one resolution in life: a bully will never see my tears, because that's not how I'm built. As I decided, like, enough is enough. Like, you feel my employer is a person that you will tell on me on, so that they can be able to discipline me. I will tell you that I am actually a full-on human being, outside of an organization, outside of a position, outside of like, nothing matters. It doesn't matter who you are, you will never bully me. And so the first thing that I did when I came out of maternity leave was to write a resignation letter, because remember, all these were happening in the middle of a maternity leave. Like, I was a woman who was lactating. They didn't even have mercy. I was actually on leave. I was not even doing work. Like, I was seated, like, breastfeeding a baby, and there were people who were out plotting against me. As I said, I will never ever give them a satisfaction to be able to think that because I am employed, because someone is my employer, they can cancel me. You can never cancel me. You didn't make me, you will never break me. And so I was like, this is the end of my season of people thinking that I am a subject. I am not. I am not. And so every single time I feel the footsteps of a bully, I feel someone who just wants to be able to make me live on my knees. No, I am never living on my knees. And that's the other thing that I have with cancel culture. You will never ever see me support a cause, however wrong someone is, a cause where people unite against someone to bring them down. You're not God. Excuse me. You didn't create me. You cannot break me. And that, I think, is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in life, is that I can never ever live on my knees. I will never live on my knees. I have seen life over and over and over again bring me to a point where people want me to be able to live to a certain wherever, like live feeling a certain way, like I have to live by a script. No, there is no script. And if there is a script, it's my own script. It is not yours. And so you're better than your bullies. And I know there are people, and I've gone through a week of people just telling me stories of bullies, and that's why I came here to tell my story. And I cannot even imagine if I had just stayed to be bullied. I cannot imagine how my life would have been. And I am so glad that I walked away from situations that made me feel less than. From people that made me feel like I am less of a human being. Excuse me. It doesn't matter how big you are. And I'm not saying this out of a need for you to now go and dishonor people. I am not saying dishonor anyone. I am saying never let your bully see your tears. Never ever live like your world depends on someone else to rotate. Never ever live like you need to rely on someone else for oxygen, because it's not worth it. It is not worth it for your sake. It is not worth it for the sake of the future of everyone that will come and encounter bullies. It is not worth it in any way. I have been bullied thrice that I can count. I will not mention the third one because of time. But then I can tell you for a fact that every time I stood out to bullies, I earned more respect for myself, because respect for myself matters. It matters even before anyone respects me. I don't want you to respect me more than I respect myself. And every single time you sit down and allow a bully to continuously bully you and to be able to live on your knees, you're telling other people, you're telling that bully that it is okay to go ahead and bully other people. I said it starts with me, but it will never, ever, ever, I will never allow it to be able to happen to someone because they succeeded on my story. I have to put a stop to it. And so I don't know what you're going through. We are living in a world where people don't have you cannot hold an opinion. You cannot have the ability to speak freely. You don't have the ability to be able to just live your life in a way that you're not stepping on anyone's toe. I don't have respect for people who go ahead and step on people's toes. You deserve it. If you're a person who comes up and you wake up in the morning and devise evil things, you deserve it. And that is not bullying. That is your retribution. But for the people who are waking up and doing their best every single day, for people who are waking up and they don't have an intention to hurt, for people who are waking up and they just want to live your dreams, because your light is shining so bright that someone would come in and want to dim it, that is not up to you. The fact that they feel less than because you exist is not your problem. Your problem is to come here and to live your purpose. And if in the course of living your purpose someone feels threatened, you are not responsible for that feeling. If someone feels small, they are responsible for feeling small. And do not let small people come between you and your dream. Never let small people feel like they're winning over your life, because that is not your portion. And so for anyone out there who is facing bullies, I would tell you, stand up to them. Cry behind closed doors. Never let a bully see your tears, because the generation that comes after you depends on you standing up to bullies. And if you're a bully out there, you wake up every morning and say, today anaenda kuniona, leo anaenda kuniona. Your days are numbered. I will tell you, you're wicked, you're evil, and wicked and evil people never ever amount to anything. There's so many people who've committed suicide because of bullies. There's so many people who are living outside of their dreams because someone woke up and thought that they are better than them. You're not better than anyone. You're a bully because you're a small person. You're a bully because your mind is too small. You're a bully because you're a useless person. And the more that you get to a point that you understand yourself and you become self-aware and you ask yourself where your insecurities are coming from, bullying people will never give you value. Waking up and devising evil things, writing to people's employers, trying to find them, get them fired, writing to people, trying to make people to be cancelled. You will never ever amount to anything with that mentality. It doesn't matter what someone does. You're not the judge. Everyone has their own experiences. Everyone has their own lives. If someone is not actively hurting you, and if someone is not actively plotting against you, don't have any right to write to people to bring people down. You're not God. You're not God. And because you're not God, you better get to a point where you align with who you truly are. You're a human just like everyone else. We are all brought down here to have dominion. No one is better than anyone. And so if you're a bully out there, I want to tell you that you're a small person. And because you're a small person, you need healing. Hurting other people will never give you healing. You need to wake up and be a bigger person. I'm sorry for ranting. I needed to. And I hope that you learn something or two out of this. If you're one of the people that I named and you want to bring drama, I think by now you know I am not that person. I don't back down from a good fight. But I also want to tell our society, before you rant and cancel people, pause and think, are you better? Are you better than them? Because the fact that you're out there plotting for someone to go, that means you're an insecure human being who feels you're the boss of us all, and you're not. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, please don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, and to comment. I would like to hear from you. Until next time, bye.